Guys, what is up? It's Coolie, and today I have another trial video for you. In the Neo Vision era, we're going for Scorn of the Icebird here. And it is a little tricky to get done in a low amount of turns with all missions, mainly due to the gearing requirements of the whole thing. So, as you can see, I haven't even beaten this fight yet. But after studying it a little bit, I think we can get through this in 4 turns. I've planned out 4 turns of actions. Hopefully everything works out the way we're supposed to. So let's just take a look here. Evoke an Esper 2 times, complete the quest, deal lightning damage to an enemy, and defeat 2 glacial sculptures with a limit burst. This is the mission that makes it a little difficult to complete all missions in a low amount of turns, because there are certain conditions you have to meet during the fight to make these sculptures even appear. So if you just go into it on turn 1 and kill everything, yeah, you can evoke 2 Espers and you could deal lightning damage and you complete the quest, but you'll miss that last mission. So that's unacceptable to me. We're going in for every mission. So before we even get into it, I'll explain that the glacial sculptures only come out, according to my research here, the glacial sculptures will only come out when there are 2 or more of the little icebirds. If you guys remember the original trial, it was the big icebird, and then he summoned a couple of little tiny baby icebirds, and he did that every turn until there was like 8 or 9 or 10 of them there. If you didn't kill them, and they would just spark chain you with this laser and kill you. It was a rough time. So in this one, you have to leave the icebird like alive and not push thresholds enough to where he won't summon the little birds anymore. And once he summons the little birds and there's 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom, then you can push him to 50%, and then he will summon the ice sculptures, and then we can finish the trial. So in my experience, this can't happen before turn 4, so we're going to push it to turn 4. So select your own unit. I'm taking Elena. Actually, I'm not taking Elena. We are, but not in that slot. Where'd she go? I just took her out to change Elena's gear, right? So let's just get our actual Elena unit, the one that's geared up. Okay, so here's the gear. We're using Celis as a tank, okay? Magic tank. Now I know her preemptive cover thing is kind of bugged up right now, and Square Enix, Gumi, really, you should fix that. It's bullshit. Like, fix her cover, man. So, we got her geared for 150% ice resist, 150% water resist, and 150% wind resist. That's the amount of resistance you're going to want on your magic tank. We also have all status resist here, because we don't want to get hit with confuse and other such things that happen in the preemptive attack. I'm not sure if she's not evading, right? Yeah, she's not evade or any of that. And other than that, we have her built just for like HP and spirit. You know, we're using egg painting as our vision card. Here are her abilities. Here's her gear. What you're gearing for is not exactly this. You're gearing for 150 ice resist, wind, and water, and all status resist. That's on the magic tank. Usually people, when they did this fight, they would use a physical tank, but we're going in with a magic tank. Ling is here with full evade and draw attacks to evade any single target physical attacks or any single target things that we need to worry about. So we also give her Call of the Wild and Dragon's Brush to make sure that she can fill LB per turn and at the beginning of the fight to use some moves round 1. She's got Cryo Scrunchy there. That's for the all status resist, right? So any character that has full evade in this fight, you're not going to have to worry about their element resist being high, because the big elemental move that it's going to use is a physical attack that deals magic damage, so they'll evade that. Okay. Cloud, in normal form, is just got the Thief's Vest and Sword of Wrath, so he's got the 100% evade going. Okay. The one status resistance that you're going to want for every character, you don't necessarily need all status resistance, because Ling is going to handle that for us with Purifying Dance. She's going to be able to remove any statuses and prevent them in the future. But for round 1, just for the preemptive and all of that, you want Confuse resistance on everyone. So if you can't gear for full status resistance, at least do Confuse, and you'll be fine. Okay, he's got Sea Dragon, Particles of Dust. He's using the strongest vision card he can. That's for the Brave Shift form. In the Brave Shift form, we're going with just our strongest build that we can do for damage against a bird and spirit, because all of these are birds and spirit. They have dual race, and that's it. He's nothing special about his build other than that. Once you get past round 1, you're not going to have to worry about pretty much anything. You know, you're good. Because Ling's going to have a refreshing twirl on everybody every turn, so we're good. Aerith, starting in Brave Shift form, she is going to be geared for the resistance, not the evade. So at least 100 ice, 100 wind, and 100 water, and we should be okay to not die. In the future rounds, this may actually hurt. The moves may actually damage you a little bit, but it won't kill you. Okay. And on top of that, she got 3 Bahamut synergies on, because that's how we're going to be filling our Esper gauge, because we have to summon 2 Espers in 4 turns, so we're going to be filling it every turn with Bahamut synergies, Summer Parasol on Elena, I think, and then like a Bonds with the Aeons on Elena too, or something. Okay? Knights Who Soar the Skies, we actually put this on for the 30% extra wind resist there, and as you can see, her resistance is kind of all over the place, but it's over 100% on the ones we need. Not sure why she got so much ice, but okay. We're using Lakshmi as an Esper on Aerith and Fenrir on Conch, because we don't want to use like damaging Espers that we don't need to use. So Conch, I think, is geared for the resistance as well. 100 ice, 100 wind, 100 water. She should be a-okay to survive this, no problem. She's got Alliance Heart, LB fill 12 per turn. You're going to want to gear her for that. It takes a lot of LB Chris to get her LB up, which we're going to be using Ling to help with. At level 9, it takes 71 crystals, so I'm assuming that's an 80 crystal fill at level 1. And at level 30, obviously it's 50. That would be a lot better, but I haven't leveled up the LB. But you can see the LB, why it's going to be good for this fight. Attack and Magic, 300% for all allies. 30% Lightning Amp. Speaks for itself, okay? Plus, she's got great sources of Dispel and other buffs and things like that, so she's really good for this fight if you have her. I'm sure most of you might have pulled an off banner or 2 by now. You can UFC it if you want, but this is the only character that I saw as being like really great for this lightning damage team, which is going to be all Cloud and all Cells, by the way. So she can also imbue lightning to everybody, AoE, so that's why we're not using elemental weapons on either of these people. And Aerith is really here specifically for the LB buff, the 400% damage and 250% LB buff, LB damage buff. You can use somebody else if you want. Somebody with like a lesser buff. Maybe you could even use Sylvie, it's fine. But this is the team. Damage right here. Tank. Support. Buffs. Other support. Amps. Imbues. Imperils. All that. So, Elena doesn't need a Esper, but I'll show you her gear anyway. She is full evade, so no crazy elemental resist there, but definitely confused protection. And bonds with the Aeons and the Summer Parasol so that we can fill that Esper gauge. Guaranteed 10 every time. Other than that, no vision card, no Esper, no nothing. Alright guys, so we had a little bug happen where our Elena that was in Brave Shift form started out the fight in normal form instead of Brave Shift form, even though you can go back and see that she was set in Brave Shift form. And she died in the preemptive attack, right? Which wasn't so bad, we could still beat the fight without her, but I want to show you guys the way that I did this the real way. So we had to reset the fight to stop that bug. So let's see, we'll make sure it doesn't happen now. Hopefully she starts out in Brave Shift and we don't experience this problem. Okay, there she is. She's in Brave Shift, so now everybody should be fine. Everybody will live. There you go. So nobody died from that. And we're going to do this, okay? Turn 1. We're going to do, Conch is going to do triple keyboard. Right, we're going to do Refreshing Waltz. This dispels the enemies and ourselves for anything that's on them or us. Since it's the first move of the fight, it's not really affecting anything that much. Holy Melody. Plus, we don't want too many buffs on us right now because we don't want to do too much damage and push too much of a threshold, you know? Holy Melody for the buffs, and then Lightning Fortissimo for the AoE imbue, right? Ling is now going to step in with Refreshing Twirl, Purifying Dance, Rejuvenating Dance. Let's let that all go through, okay? Celis is just going to cover. 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 Celis is just Cloud is now going to Brave Shift and Guard. I'm sorry, I'm looking back and forth because I wrote down all of the moves that I did for 4 turns. So Cloud just Brave Shifts and Guards. Doesn't need to do anything else. Aerith is now going to evoke our first Esper, which is Lakshmi, which will heal us all up. And I'm pretty sure with Elena, we just do Crystal Refragmentation to get that Elemental Resist buff up for the turn 2, for the next few turns, so we don't have to worry about elemental damage. Yep. As you can see, we're all doing pretty good. Celis only takes very minimal, what was that, very little, minimal magic, elemental damage there, I think. So, turn 2, Conch's just going to summon Fenrir, right? So, we got ourselves a little, if we didn't have Ling in there, we'd have a little Mirage there, but we're going to use more anyway. So now we're just doing Refreshing Twirl again, Purifying Dance again, and we're doing Celestial Dance to fill LB. This is very important for Conch, we need that LB up. Alright, Celis and Cloud are going to do nothing but guard. Elena is going to put up some mitigation here, Radiant Shield, and then this, Protection of the Azure Crystal. And Aerith on the next turn will just give us a little bit more insurance there, or Protect and Shell. We should be okay. So, now, as you can see, this is the turn where, well, it should be the turn. Yeah, there we go. It's like, wait a minute. If the bird is in its, top threshold, or I think even second, it will summon these extra birds as long as you didn't kill the original 2 little birds. So now that we have the 2 little birds up on top and 2 little birds on the bottom, now we can push threshold and get it to summon those 2 glacial sculptures. So here we go. Turn 3, so we're going to start this right off with Sorcerer's Sidewinder. On the big guy, make sure you target the big one. Alright, it's going to do a little bit of damage, right? But now we have our 400% buff. So it's very important, we got to be really careful here in the order that we do things so that we don't push too much damage. So we're just going to do Luminous Speed, we're going to do the Mitigation again, and then Blessing of the Azure Crystal. That's going to give us a little bit of a buff, take away any attack breaks that we have on us. Right, we're just going to do Lightning Fortissimo again, just because she has nothing else to do that turn. Make sure that Lightning Imbue is up. So now with Cloud, we're going to do Sonic Dodge, right, so that we don't do damage. And then 2 Bravers on the big boy. Now this should put it below 50%. So you have 49, that's pretty close, right? So if you need more damage, you can always do Triple Magitech with Celis, and do like, Kiraga, and Invincible Swordplay there, just to make sure that it gets pushed past that 50%. You just need it under 50%. So we already had it with the 49, but we're going to make sure that, just so you know that you have more options that turn to do these things. So now finally we are going to do a big break on this bad boy with Refreshing Twirl, Purifying Dance, and Disarming Movements. And the next turn is the kill turn. So we've already dealt lightning damage. We've already summoned 2 Espers. All we have to do now is kill these sculptures with a Limit Burst, which we will be able to do no problem. You can see this attack is very, very not dangerous. Everybody's okay. And this is the turn where we get to just really overpowered obliterate this thing, because we're doing... Ling's going to shift, right? She's going to do Reborn Dragon. And just in case you didn't know what's on that... 295 attack and magic break. Attack and magic buff. LB damage by 200% for 5 turns. That's really big. All allies can evade some physical attacks 5 times for 5 turns. So you may not actually even need to do this because of Aerith's LB that we used the turn before. But we're going to use it anyway, right? But here's the big one right here. We get the... we're getting the big lightning amp on this. 30%. Plus those buffs. Now all we're going to do is Spinning Edge and Spinning Bike. And we're not going to have to worry about anything here. We don't have to do anything with Elena, although, everybody's just... All the characters I'm using here are just full of buffs. But they don't have to do anything. Aerith and Red 13 and Elena here can just defend. And then we can just use this. Everybody will die from Limit Burst damage, and that's it. All missions complete 4 turns. Which I think is the earliest you could possibly do it before it summons those other little birds. So there you go. They'd only have I think the sculptures only have like slightly less than 150 million HP, so not really dangerous. And the big one doesn't have anywhere near the amount of HP that would save it from dying in the current meta. So there you go. Now I got my Quicksilver. Run that through Item World. More Trust Coins, another select ticket. And there you go. So Scorn of the Fallen Icebird is done now. And we are moving on to one of the next ones. So let's see, which one should I do for the next one? I keep getting asked to do right here. Mocking Up Destruction, which I cleared already a long time ago, but I did miss one of the missions. So defeat left arm and right arm with magic. Alright. So I'm pretty sure I just like one turn this thing a while back. So we're going to do this one next. Alright. Peace out, guys. See you next time.